The truth is that we are not yet free. We have merely achieved the freedom to be free, the right not to be oppressed. We have not taken the final step of the journey, but the first step on a longer and even more difficult road. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. The true test of our devotion to freedom is only just beginning. Dear Archbishop George, all my brothers and sisters here, those words are from the last page of the book by our former President Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. And today, it is most important that we think back to 1976, to one of the struggles for freedom which began in Soweto on this day 24 years ago. That they should have to study through Afrikaans because they saw that this was a way of holding them bound. But it was not only a struggle against something. What was in the heart of those young people who carried on the struggle was not simply to stand up against something which was unjust. It was to stand and to struggle for something. To struggle for an education system which will respond and reflect their human dignity, what we would call as Christians, would reflect their dignity as human beings, born in the image of God. That is what we commemorate today. And that is why President Mandela's words, former President Mandela's words, are so true. The first step on a longer and much more difficult road. That is what we are engaged in now. Since 1994 and our first democratic elections, we, the people of South Africa, began a long journey to transform our land and our people into the dream God has for us. The dream of God which reflects our dignity as people, as communities who are born in the image of God. And nothing less than what corresponds to that is good enough for us. Our political freedom won in 1994 will only be true and real when, and visibly, and all the examples of unfreedom are overcome in our land. Only then will we be a people and a nation that can rejoice in knowing who we really are and what we have really created together. That brings us very simply into the theme of the Jubilee. The great Jubilee 2000, which we are celebrating as a local church in this Archdiocese and in our country. The great Jubilee themes are forever relevant. The great themes of the restitution of the land to the people, to those who be deprived of their land. The theme of freeing the slaves. The theme of the cancellation of the debt. Those three great Jubilee themes are deeply relevant to our country in the long journey we have begun. The restitution of the land until the land our people have lost is restored, until there is a just redistribution of the land of South Africa, until the land that is restored and redistributed and shared becomes a means of our people breaking out of poverty and misery and living a life of dignity, until our people on the land anyway have the skills and the capacity to use the land so that poverty and misery can not only be overcome, but that all can live a quality of life that reflects our human dignity. Until the land is restored in that way, we cannot celebrate with joy the Jubilee. We have begun that journey. The freeing of the slaves. Today, we must look deeply into the life of our people and our nation and find what are the modern forms of slavery. What keep people as if it was in a prison? One unfree is certainly the HIV/AIDS epidemic, which keeps people because of a culture of silence, of rejection, of non-acceptance. It keeps people who are living and dying with AIDS in the prison, in a prison where there is no love, where there is no acceptance, where there is no experience of God. Until all the forms of unfreedom and slavery are seen and discovered, until we create a society where there is deep respect, acceptance, sharing, and love, especially of the little ones, the suffering, those who have none, then we cannot celebrate Jubilee truly. The cancellation of the dead. We, in South Africa, share with our brothers and sisters in Southern Africa and in Sub-Saharan Africa, and with many of our brothers and sisters in the developing world, the terrible suffering of how the debt owed by countries prevents them precisely from developing and breaking out of their misery. The debt they owe